Hi, this is Erica Smith, and this is my screencast on linked learning. I'm doing mine on the curriculum unit Good Eats, integrated curriculum unit on nutrition and health. This is a very important topic to me. My family, my husband and I are very big on eating healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, not just with the food that we eat and exercising, but also our mental health and emotional health and well-being. And although I teach fifth graders, I think that they are old enough to understand the aspects of nutrition and health. And I really do believe that this unit could be modified to accommodate them at their level and even challenge them to think higher than a fifth grade level. So the unit has 3 subunits. Subunit 1 is nutrition and you, basically breaking down all the components of health and nutrition. Subunit 2 is nutrition and society, how our society looks at health and how it influences the way that we view ourselves and the aspect that the role that culture plays in it. And then subunit 3 is nutrition in the world, and that's exploring hunger and famine and food distribution and production in other countries and how it compares to the United States. There is an essential question for the entire unit, which is, should we care about what we eat and why? Every subunit has key questions that are kind of the focus and objectives of the lesson that need to be answered throughout the unit. So the actual lesson itself is broken down into several components. The objectives of the lessons of each lesson are listed. Within each subunit, there's several lessons, and those objectives are within each lesson. Each lesson has a time frame, materials, resources. It specifies prior learning that should have taken place in other classrooms. It gives a lesson outline for activities and development and class discussion and student artifacts. It also even goes into discussing possible misconceptions students could have had prior to this lesson pertaining to the topic that's being addressed. The lesson also goes on to give ideas or suggestions for extension activities, and then the content standards are at the end. How does the curriculum utilize the linked learning lens? So linked learning really focuses on real world application and connecting all of the various academia into technical education. So this unit doesn't rely solely on the basic science behind health and nutrition. It incorporates various components of academia to develop a wealth of knowledge through biology, chemistry, health science, algebra, statistics, English language arts. It even goes into Spanish and using Spanish vocabulary, U.S. government, the politics and economics behind the U.S. government, and the way that legislation is or bills are introduced and passed, world history and world geography. Students will learn, for example, students will learn the function and process of the digestive system, metabolism. They will use linear equations and graphing and calculating their own BMI, and then also using that to compare to the other students in the class. They tie in the real world and how society and media influence our self-image. Cultural perspectives on nutrition, which I thought was really important because I really love the inclusion of a culturally relevant pedagogy, and this is an aspect of culture that really affects our students and their learning. So I think it's important to really look at different cultures' perspectives on health and nutrition and what they consider healthy and nutritious. The effects of puberty. My students are in fifth grade. A lot of them are going to be have started going through puberty or are going to be starting soon. So understanding how puberty and health and nutrition really affect each other. Students are also challenged to expand their perspective to the world in subunit 3 by learning about the disparity of food availability and the political and economic factors that influence it. They apply their learning through activities like creating a menu or keeping track of what they're eating throughout their week and calculating the macros of their food intake and comparing it to what's a suggested intake that you should be having. It also has connections to the actual community and having partner roles. Like, you could have a registered dietitian come in and talk to the students, an athletic trainer, which is, my husband's an athletic trainer, so that would be something that I could bring into my classroom. I also have a friend who's a registered dietitian and nutritionist, and she works with diabetic patients, so she would kind of cover all of those areas and be able to come into my classroom to talk to my students about that content. How does the curriculum apply problem-based learning? So it is guided by questioning. There's an essential question, which is the focus or the issue that's being addressed, and then every subunit has key questions or issues that should be answered. There are various opportunities for reflection. Students can reflect on their what they're eating and, even the culture. What does their family eat and how does their family view health and nutrition and what we're consuming food-wise and our fitness, and also reflecting on the food production and distribution in other parts of the world and countries and their availability to it. Reflecting on media. So media includes social media, and that's a very big factor in students today. Now, my students are a little bit younger, so I don't think it affects them as much as it would as a high school student per se. Collaborative groups. Students are constantly working together throughout this unit to develop some type of artifact, whether it be a poster or through the class discussion or oral presentation. They are working together to get information together to present to the class. So therefore, students have various roles that they are playing. They are analyzing information and sharing their findings and presenting their findings through oral presentations, poetry, essays, posters, just to name a few. And higher level thinking, they're having to use critical thinking strategies and analyzing and synthesizing information to reach an ultimate conclusion, which is all part of problem-based learning. And even though it has these factors in it, there are things that can be done to enhance or expand the extent of applying problem-based learning. Like, although they have questions, the questions are already there for the students to answer rather than allowing those students to develop their questions. So the students don't really seem to be given an opportunity to raise questions. The questions are provided for them. So problem-based learning really focuses on giving students more control over the learning and having it not be so much teacher-directed, but to really be a dialogue between the teacher and the student, and the teacher modeling questioning for the students, but modeling thinking for the students, but really allowing the students the opportunity to come up with the questions on their own. And through that questioning process, the inquiry process takes place, and they can really start going into those aspects. And there are various opportunities in each of the subunits where students could take a topic and go and inquire more about it and get more information and get more questioning and dig deeper into what's behind it, which goes into giving them more control and having it not be so much the teacher giving the students the learning and teaching them, but allowing the students to go and learn on their own. And it needs, in my opinion, does need more hands-on experience. And although linked learning is really focused on real-world application, I don't really think that the unit gives that much real-world application. I think that there's ample opportunities for that to happen, like bringing in a partner role, bringing in a clinical dietitian, and maybe having her even bring in some patients where the students could ask the patients questions and learn by looking over their shoulder as far as decision makings for lifestyles. How does the curriculum utilize constructivism? Well, it does have some problem-based learning approach, which is incorporated into constructivism, but it does need more. There are ample opportunities for reflection in these units, allowing the students to really reflect on the various learning aspects that go into health and nutrition and the decisions we make. Collaborative groups and working together and cooperating and being interactive is throughout the entire unit, but again, it could be more interactive, it could be more hands-on, and I think this is a very, very important topic because this information is something that children can take with them throughout the rest of their life. And if they are able to really learn this information and apply it now and knows what it looks like in the future if you don't make good choices for your health, I apologize, I lost my train of thought. I just think it's really important for the kids to have that hands-on experience. So, not just making a menu, but actually go home with your family and make that meal and talk to your family about the food that you're choosing to eat and have their family be incorporated into it, and maybe their family working together to create a menu and have it not just be the student. So that is my screencast on linked learning on the health and nutrition unit. Thank you.